Hey, inflation data, PPI today, its cousin CPI tomorrow. These are important data points. June read, of course. On the headline number, we're expecting a number, well, somewhere around up 0.3. And guess what? Spot on up 0.3. Strip out the all-important food and energy, and it's up 0.3. That's a tenth hotter than we expected, but definitely a little bit meeker than our 0.5% increase last month. If we look at food and energy year over year, that's up 2.8. That is definitely hot. It's 0.2 hotter than we were looking for, and it really jumped over our last look at 2.4. And if we look at trade food and energy year over year, also a tenth hotter at 2.7. 3.4 year over year final demand. All these year over year numbers are definitely a bit hotter than we expected. But you know, as we understand, whether it's in Japan or in the U.S., PPI can be hot. Sometimes the markets aren't. We'll have to see if CPI tomorrow matches up. We still have wholesale inventories later in the session. We're still hovering right around the mid-280s in 10-year note yields. Of course, everything will be about trade and tariffs and NATO today. You know, Joe, I think that we need to give a refresher course to the world on exactly what an ally is. What do you think?
You know, I'm watching a lot of stuff come in across, what is it, over the transom through the Twitter sphere, Rick. And I get, you know, like so many things, I get both sides.
Well, listen, Joe, it's easy. It's easy.
I'm hearing,
do you think Angela Merkel?
Right. I hear, why is it humiliating? Why is it humiliating to speak the truth? Some people are saying, why is that humiliating your allies when you speak the truth?
Because it's easier to go day to day, status quo. It's easy. You don't upset the apple cart. You know, that's called Brussels in a nutshell. But here's my issue. I don't think Merkel considers Russia a real ally. I don't think they consider China a real ally. But they trade with them. See, you can trade with entities and still have a competitive effort underscoring that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that when it comes to a missile flying over the horizon, those are your real allies. And I don't think Merkel's going to see China and Russia jump to her defense. But she trades with them. She buys energy from Russia. These are the things that we need to understand. Listen, whether you think Trump's right or wrong on trade, there's a lot of issues. I think the 25% truck tariff is going to be a contentious issue on autos, and I don't want to see the Europeans put us in a box saying, you know, no tariffs on anything. But in the end, it's okay to have trading partners and then try to negotiate. It doesn't affect the other side of the ally balance sheet when it comes to military and defense.
Right. We have a lot of people that come on and tell us how, you know, they have a lot of criticism but they were in a position to have done it differently, and we still are kind of where we are right now after a lot of, you know, you can go back 10, 15, 20 years, and we bring them all out to tell us how it should be done and to criticize what's happening now, but it doesn't seem like we're in a great position based on what's happened for, you know, some things are good, some are bad. We'll see. And it'll all be clear in, when will it be clear? So will it be clear in a year whether this works? Trade, NATO, North Korea. Leisman doesn't know. He just doesn't fear the yield curve. Let's get more reaction to the numbers. Steve Liesman joins us now along with our guest host, BlackRock's Rick Reeder, who doesn't fear the yield curve. I don't think either, do you?
Correct. I do not. Okay. I do not.
Just real quick on the numbers, Joe. These are hotter than expected. You have in here this trade number, and I was talking to the BLS last month about this. This is the profit made by retail and wholesale, and it's up 0.7 and 0.9%. I'm not sure why that number is quite so hot. It's sort of it's the added cost of the middle person in there, so that if you get a good from a producer and sell it to a retailer, the middleman's or the middle person's profit is the trade number. I'm not sure why that's quite so high right now. It's been up for 2 months, and I'm sure one of my econ friends will send me a note and explain that. One thing that's curious in here is a 1.1% decline in foods. And I'm wondering if we're starting to see the effects of some of the trade in here, in that you've had these decline in some of these. You're shaking your head, Melissa.
Yeah,
you think that's right?
Commodity costs, I think so. The stronger dollar and also the trade impact.
That could be in there. We know some farm prices have fallen. looking up the chain or down the chain, I guess you want to call it, when it comes to less processed goods, there is a little bit of inflation in the pipeline. Intermediate demand good processed goods up 0.7% on the month, 6.8% year over year. Take out food and energy, it's 4.9. So there's a little inflation coming down the pike from the wholesale level. Whether or not that gets passed along to consumers is another story. It doesn't always happen that way one for one. We'll find out more tomorrow about the consumer situation in the CPI index.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.